Hey there.
Hi,
How are you, Jenny?
I'm good. How are you, Clarke?
Good. I am well. Let me see if I can play us a little music.
Oh, I love
Not
that.
minimize Zoom when you are recording this meeting. Okay. Let's see.
Hi, Jeff.
To the Capitol building, first woman to ever lie in state there.
Well, I wasn't going for Pink Floyd, but there it is.
I love it. What an intro.
All right, y'all, we're going to get started in just a few minutes. Literally a few. Please go ahead and you're fine to stay muted, but we would love to see you. So that's my challenge. I'll be right back.
Okay. I really want to see some faces. It's so weird, like looking at people's names. And there's Allison.
Here I am.
Yes, ma'am. Good morning. Come through with it, Tiffany and Sid and Martine.
Okay, that's better. Good.
Yeah, there she is. What's up, Jade? How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. Glad to be here.
Good. I was just thinking as I was on earlier, I said to myself, God, I wish that Zoom had a filter. Like, you know, when you're taking a selfie and you get to swipe through the filters. I want one of those, but for Zoom.
Yes.
It's really bad.
Hey, I don't think Zoom's interested in how we look. You know, they're more interested in the business. What kind of business we're doing.
That's right, but they're getting plenty of money.
Mm-hmm. I can't imagine.
I know.
Got to be quite a bit.
How's everybody doing today?
We're good. The weather is improving. It's not as hot as it was.
What's the weather doing?
It's improving.
Oh, good. Well, welcome, Allison, Jeff, Hefe, and Jade. Welcome. We're going to go ahead and get started. And I'm going to invite everybody to not be shy and to turn on your cameras so I can see your lovely, smiling, soon-to-be real estate rock star faces. How about that?
I like it.
All right.
Fingers and toes crossed.
Awesome sauce. Okay, so I'm Clarke Davie. I am assistant team leader at KW First Atlanta. I have the privilege of working with folks like Miss Jeni Thomas, who is our you're a veteran now, Jeni.
Basically, nine years in it.
She is. I'm going to give her your introduction in a minute. She is who I'm interviewing on here. So she's going to share with you the good, the bad, the ugly, the awesome. You know, the just everything. So we're not here to sugarcoat anything for you, but at the same time, you know, our job is really just to give you information, show you how we get our agents ramped up into production as quickly as possible. If you see value in that, that's awesome. We'd love for you to join us here. So look, before we get to that, what I'd like to do is talk a little bit about Keller Williams, Gary Keller, and the Millionaire Real Estate Agent, a little bit about getting your license and that sort of thing first, and then we're going to get to the main event, which is Jeni Thomas. So again, I'm assistant team leader. My name's Clarke. I should really change my name on here. I'm just going to put it in here. At some point I will, I'm just going to be straight up with y'all. Okay, Crystal, I see that you can't turn your camera on. That's totally fine. But I'm going to put my contact information at some point in the chat box. So if you have questions later, and you want somebody to reach out to, I'm going to put my information there in the chat box. So again, Clarke Davie, I started in real estate 16 years ago. When I started, I had another full-time job. I did both jobs for 6 months until, yes, you guessed it, I pulled my hair out. And I really got to the point where I was doing both jobs horribly. That's how I felt. And so I jumped ship, burned the boats, stayed on Real Estate Island 6 months into it. I spent the next 13 and a half years, first being a single agent and then starting a small team. I got my production for the last 5 or 6 years was somewhere in the the last year of we formed a team of 3 agents and 1 full-time administrative assistant, and did I think it was around 16 million that year, something like that. And the best year I had as a single agent, I did about $220,000 in gross commission income. That was my best year as an individual agent. So I served on the ALC, which Jeni serves on, off and on. I'm a believer in term limits, so I limited my terms and let other people serve. And I'll talk more about the ALC in a minute, but that's kind of who I am. I'm from Georgia. I was born at Piedmont Hospital. I'm married. I have 2 children. And so that's a little bit about me. Let me ask y'all a few questions real quick. Who on the call is currently in pre-license class already? Wow, okay.
I'm trying to take my exam, my salesperson exam next week.
Okay, perfect. Okay. So for those who are on this call and are not in class, the first step to getting your license is taking the pre-license class. I'll put a little blurb when Jeni starts talking, or or one of y'all asks a question, and I can focus on putting it in the chat room. I'm gonna give you the name of capituslearning.com, and I'm gonna put a little promo code in there that you can use. You don't have to go to Capitus. You don't have to go to Barney Fletcher. You can take it online. You can take it in the brick and mortar, in the classroom environment with limited seating, is my understanding. You can take it in a hat with a cat. You can take it with green eggs and ham. Okay, just as long as you take it, once you take the class, you pass the test, then you are eligible, as Allison and Jade and Tiffany and Samantha know. At that point, you're eligible to take the state test. Once you take the state test, congratulations, you are legal and dangerous, right? So our job, as we see it, is to provide you with the tool, with the stuff that's applicable. What am I trying to say, Jeni? The stuff that's that will
more applicable to real estate everyday life instead of like your studies. And right now it's all state law, it's all jargon in your head, and what Clarke is referring to is just the day-to-day and stuff that we go through.
So thank you. And so putting all those ideas into practice, okay? So a little bit about how we do that. First of all, I would be remiss if I didn't share with you, we are the #1 real estate office in Georgia. Keller Williams First Atlanta has had that distinction for the last 4 years consecutively. We're the only real estate we're the only real estate office in Georgia to sell over $1 billion in real estate. Year to date, we are the #1 most profitable Keller Williams office worldwide. So we have a lot of resources behind us. How do we equip you to get into production as quickly as possible? Well, we pair you with a mentor. Jeni has begun participating in that, which I was super glad about. And those mentors, similar to the Agent Leadership Council, they're agents who are producing in the top 20% of our market center. We don't pair you with somebody who doesn't sell, right? We actually want you to sell, right? And then the second thing we do in our new agent launch program is we get you into Ignite. And Ignite is like laying the foundation of your real estate business. It is really how it's led by our Agent Leadership Council. And our Agent Leadership Council, for the record, is like a board of directors. It is people like Jeni who are invited to serve for a 1-year term because, number one, of her production. Number two, different team leaders choose them a little bit differently. But mostly, for the most part, in my mind, if I was making the selection, and when I do get to make that selection, wouldn't that be great? I would base it primarily on production and culture, okay? So that's a little bit about how we get you started. Step one, mentor program. They're gonna walk you through your first 3 transactions. Step number 2, ignite. Lay the foundation of your business, and it also fulfills your 25 hours of post-license credit. Most people join Keller Williams in general for the training and the education and for the culture, or for a combination of those 2 things. Okay, training and culture. And those 2 steps in our new agent launch program is how Keller Williams First Atlanta uniquely equips you to get into production as quickly as possible. How does that sound?
Good.
Good, 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 good. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about Keller Williams, because I'm gonna let you, oh, and by the way, y'all, we have budgeted an hour for this call. We won't go over, but we might go under, depending upon y'all's questions and such, okay? But we'll have you off no later than 12:59, 1 o'clock. Okay, so roundabout in the year 2000, Gary Keller drove around and called around the country and interviewed 50 top agents from all over the country. If that guy looks like that's the oldest suit you've ever seen, it's because of that picture was taken in 2002, okay? So in these conversations that Gary Keller had with these 50 individuals, he asked them, how did you achieve success in real estate? And it was through those interviews that he compiled the manuscript of what we now know is and as The Millionaire Real Estate Agent by Gary Keller, okay? So quick story. He writes the book with Jay Papasan. He flies to Manhattan. He meets with publisher number 1. Publisher number 1 says, Mr. Keller, what's the book about? Gary Keller says it's about how to make $1 million in real estate. Who's it for? It's for other real estate agents. Not interested. Gary Keller goes to publisher number 2. Publisher number 2 says, what's it about? It's about how to make $1 million in real estate. Sorry, not interested. Have a nice day. So Gary Keller, purchases a publishing company for the sole purpose of publishing this book. It's still a bestseller today. Okay, so obviously he got the last laugh on that. And it's widely considered to be the Bible of how to build a business in real estate. If you're considering and interviewing other real estate companies, I encourage you, when you go on the interview, look over their shoulder on their bookshelf and look for the red and black binder, because you may see it, okay? In this book, Gary Keller really, he goes over the 4 different business models, which are the economic, lead generation, business model, and organizational model. And he talks about how to build a business in real estate. One of the main things that sets Keller Williams apart from other real estate companies and models is that we encourage you to treat your business like a business, not a hobby, okay? Not as an employee, but as an entrepreneur, even more so as a business owner, right? So this has got all the tips and all the secrets, if you can call them, to building your business. In this book, Gary Keller defines the 2 businesses that we're in. We're in the business of lead generation, and we're in the business of selling real estate, in that order. So real quick, let's talk about lead generation. So what does that mean, right? What's a lead? Depends on who you ask. I define a lead as anybody that's going to buy or sell a piece of property within the next 60 days, right? So how do you generate leads? Well, people do it differently. In this book, he identifies the #1 source for leads. It's still true. 18 years later, it's still true, and that is our sphere of influence. And in this book, he talks about setting up that sphere of influence on the 33 Touch program, which is basically making sure that, like, so that Jeni has, I bet Jeni probably has several hundred people in her cell phone, right? And I bet Jeni's got a plan together of some sort where she reaches out and touches those folks either through text or email or calling or video text or email, neighborhood nurture, et cetera, monthly email, bi-monthly email, so that when those several hundred folks think of real estate, they think of Jeni Thomas, okay? That is why that's the biggest source for leads. And just for the record, I'm going to go ahead and throw this out there. Our job at Keller Williams First Atlanta is not to provide you with leads. Just let's go ahead and get that out in the open. Our job is to train you to be the best lead generator and converter of those leads as possible, so that you are you're the source for all of those. Now, if you pay for them, fine. You can pay Zillow to get leads. That's cool. I'm fine with that, you know. But my job is to help you. The first thing we're going to do when we sit down is we're going to pick a goal. So whatever that is, and Jeni's going to talk with us about that, because I'm going to ask her about her goals. By the way, I didn't mention I was going to ask you about your numbers, but I'm going to ask you about some of your numbers. Okay. You're going to pick a goal, because without a destination, any road is going to get you there, right? We're going to pick a goal. And then we're going to put, based on this model, we're going to put together a plan and a strategy as to how we're going to get there and when. Does that make sense? Cool. Well, hey, guess what? I've got good news. I'm finished talking. And I am going to open this up for Miss Jeni Thomas.
What's up, guys? Hi.
What's up?
Thanks so much, Clarke.
Okay, this has to be fun, y'all. If it's not fun, I'm sorry. I'm not.
I actually didn't know that about the publishing company that he purchased. I had no idea.
Isn't that wild?
He actually purchased one to produce his own book.
That's how the story goes. Yeah.
I love this man.
It's irony for sure, right?
Well, you know what's funny is that Gary Keller is getting the last laugh on a lot of things right now, and especially with the world turning the way that it is. Gary Keller, Jay Papasan, they are beyond the times, beyond. They're working beyond the times and making it an amazing world for agents like us who really want to change the industry and keep us around for a long time.
That's right. I couldn't have put that better myself. So Jeni Thomas, tell us a little bit about birth to real estate.
Oh God. Okay, so I actually grew up in Georgia. I was born in DeKalb County. So you were Piedmont, I was DeKalb. And so they raised us in Lawrenceville, Georgia. I went to Collinsville. I went to Peachtree Ridge. I went to Kennesaw State University, played tennis there. I played a lot of tennis growing up, so I'm really a big sports person. I finished my undergrad at North Georgia, the military school, and they got my MBA online at Brenau University.
Good for you.
And then decided I needed money during the time I was working with my company at the time was Lumite, and it was a geotextile company. I was an account manager and helped some of our clients purchase humanitarian supply drop material. So like, you know, those big parachute materials that you would see for humanitarian or military supply drops. My company actually made that material, which I'm still very good friends with them today. And I remember the guy told me one time, my boss, he said that you're too young to be in Gainesville, Georgia, and to be single. Like, you need to get out of here and go live your life. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna get my MBA. I'm gonna. My boyfriend at the time and I broke up. I was like, oh my God, I'm living life. This is amazing. And I needed cash, so I joined a team as an admin to a real estate team. And it was a Keller Williams intro for me. And the culture was shocking. It was like going from corporate into the Keller Williams world. The culture is something that I cannot explain to you how amazing it is. I was introduced to this world of giving, of everybody sharing information. Nobody's ever too busy for you. You're not feeling like you have to schedule a meeting with somebody and then you've got to wait weeks to get something done. This is a world where you can make things happen on your own time and with the help and the knowledge and the experience of everybody around you. So I was shocked. And I mean, even to this day, I'm a really shy person. So I am on the ALC and I'm giving and I'm trying. I may not be as giving as other people are, and I see that, but it makes me want to get better. It makes me want to be a better human being, but also a better real estate agent.
Love that. And I'll just pitch this one more time. The subtitle to this book is It's Not About the Money. It's about, I can't read backwards and inverted. It's about being the best you can be.
Yeah.
So you're living that out. Way to go, Jeni. So tell us, when did you get into real estate?
Well, it's weird. Even before college, I started as an admin to a foreclosure and short sale company at Keller Williams in Duluth. So, you know, the Kunkles, I worked with them.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so I was 17, 18, and I swore up and down I would never get into real estate again because it was too much paperwork. But yeah, I started in 2007 as an admin, and then I got my license in 2013 after college.
Okay.
And I have been actively licensed since then.
And when you started, did you start as, because we're going to touch on the fact that Jeni is part of a mega team here at Keller Williams. A team is a group of real estate agents that work as a team under the umbrella of Keller Williams First Atlanta. Did you start out on a team or did you start out as an individual agent?
So I started on a team, and I felt like it was just a natural fit for me because I had moved from the admin side, assistant side to transaction coordinator. And so I have an interesting background in knowing the timing of things because of the roles that I played within a team. And then naturally I progressed into a buyer's agent, then a listing agent. And then I was out on my own for not only 2 months in between teams, and I hated it. Like, it's not for everybody. And I'm the type of person who is a team-oriented person. So I like to have people around me, the accountability. You can still get that as an individual agent, but boy, I really like the really small team feel so that I can get better on my own with them.
And then, if I'm not mistaken, you were recruited to a different team. Is that right?
That's right. So I'm now on the Lewis Group, and that is headed up by David Lewis. Yeah, last year we closed 287 homes. I closed 49. Our team volume was 78 million, and mine was 12 or 13 million, I think.
Wow. So you closed. I'm going to mute some of y'all if you're not talking, just because I'm picking up some background noise. So you did 49 homes last year.
Yeah.
I mean, that's amazing.
That was my best year yet.
And so tell us, tell us about your role on the team.
So I am an agent partner first, and that means I can sell, I can help buy. And I'm also now the director of sales. So I've earned my role now where I'm helping I'm like a productivity coach within my team, but I'm also still selling and buying.
You're like, okay, so being the director of sales, is that what you said?
That's
Director
right.
of sales means you also help get other agents in production and probably are compensated for that, incented to do that, right?
Correct. So there's so many ways, guys, that you can actually earn real estate income. It's not just about buying and selling. And part of the reason why I feel like a lot of you are here is because you might like earning money that you don't have to pick up your finger for, right? And that's what we call residual income. And I think Clarke has touched on this before about profit sharing. And so there's, for me in real estate right now, there's 3 avenues. It's being the director of sales, it's buying and selling real estate, and I have profit share.
That's awesome. Yeah. So just also, if you're thinking about, we're not going to dwell on team versus individual the entire time today, but what I do want y'all to know, those who might be asking themselves, hey, should I start as a single agent? Should I go on a team? Just know that if you are starting real estate part-time, most teams are not going to want you on their team. Most teams are going to want a full-time, dedicated, you're in it to win it individual. They're going to want that kind of commitment.
Right, and every team has different qualifications and specifications for or criteria for you to be on the team. Maybe you knew, maybe you hit your numbers. It's just different requirements. Every team is created differently.
So very well said. So tell us, Jeni, you had your best year ever in 2019. What was your goal in 2019?
30
units?
transactions. Mm-hmm.
And you did 49?
Yeah.
Wow. What's your goal this year?
My goal is 35, and I was going to give myself a little bit of a break because last year it nearly killed me. But that's only because I didn't follow my schedule very well. Now that I have a better handle on it, it's looking like I'm at 31 now, and I should be landing at 45.
What's your average price point you're selling in?
333.
Oh my, okay. I love that number. And then what, working on a team, selling 35 units, what was your gross commission last year?
Total roughly was probably 247.
Nice.
Probably a little higher than 247. Yeah.
Yeah. And so for a young lady, or a young person, whether you're male or female, that's a heck for me. That would be awesome. You know what I'm saying? Way to go. I love that.
You know, I wasn't motivated to get into real estate at all. I was thinking, oh gosh, like I've got my MBA, I could go back and get a quote unquote real job. And just easily make, you know, that 75,000, that mark that I wanted to hit. And then when it went from 5,000 the first year to 20,000 the next year. And then it doubled to 40, and then that doubled to 80. And then I took 80 up to 150. That first big year that I had success, I got myself into some like massive debt. So last year was all about getting Jeni out of debt. And it was really awesome. I was able to cut my budget. I was able to pay off my debt, and that's been a really big part of real estate, has been a big part of getting me to where I want to be.
I love that. So share with us when you have a difficult transaction or you know, a difficult client. You have a seller that wants to default on your buyer client, right? What motivates Jeni to, when when the alarm goes off, feet hit the floor, to suit up and show up and do your job? Share with us what the money funds.
So there's 2 parts of that, I guess. If I'm in a situation that's difficult where the other side is being difficult, and Clarke, you and I had a conversation about this the other day. I have a buyer who he's in a contract right now with a seller who would like to continue pushing off the closing date and will likely default. And the motivation to get us to the same page, the same closing table, together, even though I'm not on the listing side, I'm on the buyer side, I still want to arm my listing agent with comforting feeling, comforting words so that we can create a situation where we're creating a win for everybody. And I have permission from my buyer to do that at my own leisure, because let's be real, in the day-to-day real estate world, it's all about using your words to motivate people to make actions happen. And that's how we're able to get them to the closing table together and happy.
That's great.
The
So,
second part, go ahead.
yeah, no, you go ahead. So tell us about what the money funds.
The money funds time with my family. Time with my family, and we all know that time is just another 4-letter word for love.
Oh, wow. So now we know you share the same love language as my wife, which is quality time.
Quality time and words of affirmation.
Aw,
Just
that's
pet me a
awesome.
little bit. I'm good.
There you go. Mine's words of affirmation too, for sure.
That's awesome.
So tell us about what it's been able to fund. So give us an example of some of that time that it's funded.
Yeah, I was able to buy my first house last year, or earlier this year in January. So I have a beautiful new home with my fiance, and it is exciting. It's funding a fence for the new house. It's funding time with my mom, who has poor health, and so it's nice to take her out on trips and get to know her a little bit more. It's also funded for paying off $50,000 worth of debt. It's helped me put aside money that I would like to use later on this year to help a family in need during Christmas.
Wow.
It's been a goal of mine the last few years, and I wasn't able to do it because of the debt. And now that I can, I'm really excited to do that.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Way to go. So we've got a lot of new aspiring agents on the call, as you know, Jeni. Share with us, if you could go back and tell Jeni of 2013, here's what advice I would give Jeni of 2013. What would you tell her?
Not about selling real estate. It's about following a schedule.
Wow. Wow. That's your bold law.
Yeah.
That is so cool. So tell us about that.
Well, it's about following a schedule. And when you do ordinary things consistently over time, they become extraordinary results. And that has been kicked into my head the last 60 days now. And it's
That's Keith Cunningham.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, this man was really smart. And I love something else he said about do less dumb things. I really like that. That's my language. I love it. It's all about following a schedule. And when you have that set aside time for lead generation, even if it's 30 minutes a day on like a really bad day that you may be having, instead of that 2-hour allotted time, even if you do it for 30 minutes a day, you're going to check that box. And over time, it's going to become accumulated into some really great results.
So somebody once, I don't know why I thought of this, what made me think of this, but my former business partner said to me one time, I think I was actually at a educational event. I can't remember if it was Bold or it may have been a Bold. And y'all, if you don't, sorry, Bold is a crazy, awesome, basically real estate boot camp that you can take advantage of here at Keller Williams. And somebody had not given, they chose another listing agent. I can't remember, but I had been rejected by somebody that I was counting on to work with. And I had told my business partner, I was on the phone with her, and I was so dejected, right? Because I'm like, I'm high I, y'all. I take rejection seriously, or internalize it a lot. But so I called her, and she goes, okay, here's what you're going to do. This is what you need to do. When we hang up the phone, think of the one person that if you called them up, that you're just somebody that you're the most grateful for in your life. Just think of that person. And I want you to call them up and just tell them that you're thankful for them. and it'll totally reset your mindset. And so I did it. I called a man that was my mentor that's now graduated, as my somebody I know used to say took the bus, right? I called him up and I told him how thankful I was for him, got off the phone, and it was like this had just been lifted from my, albatross had been removed from around my neck. Anyway, I'm not sure why I bring that up, Jeni, but so I love your motivation. Share with us pitfalls. What do you see new agents that make mistakes? What do you see from time to time?
It's a few things. Obviously, it's a schedule and not sticking to it consistently. Second piece is not meeting with agents who are doing a big business. Like they stay within their same group of the same production level. Like if you want to get better, you want to find the people who are actually doing really great, and you want to emulate the things that they're doing in your own business and in your own world. Because let's face it, in our world, in this culture, what we do in our personal life bleeds over into our work life. It really does. And if we are spending 75 to 80% of our time at work, we certainly want to be surrounded by those who have our back at home, but also have our back at work. So I would say a pitfall is not emulating someone who's doing a bigger business than you. Another one is, a pitfall is relying solely on social media. I think that there's a time and a place for social media, and it's great, and it's a great tool. I think that when agents are new and they start using real social media as their primary lead source, I think that they can get lost in it, and that's a personal and professional opinion of mine.
Love it. So, one thing that has always been kind of rung true with me and has kind of been made manifest in my professional career is what Gary Keller says about no one succeeds alone, right? And I know you're on a team. If somebody's starting out as an individual agent, and I had and really, quite honestly, one of my big ahas, Jeni, when I really saw my career start taking this kind of a trajectory, and that's supposed to be up, y'all, that's not down. When I saw it steadily increasing was when I started being intentional about cultivating relationships with other real estate agents. I'll be honest with you, it's not in this book, but what I hear you saying, Jeni, is that that's important here, and it's also important when you and I took Bolt the first week or the second step, we had to go home and talk to our loved ones and say, hey, here's what we're doing. I'm in this crazy boot camp, but hey, guess what? I'm going to be able to take my mom on a trip, so I love that. But I feel like that's super important when you're starting and when you need leverage. If you want to host an open house, you guys, you better start cultivating relationships with other agents in our office. If you want to get into luxury, talk to some agents in our office that have some luxury listings and become the go-to open house holder. That's what I did anyway. Okay. Yeah. So let's see what else. What else was I going to ask you, Jeni?
Can I add one more thing that
I
would say? The theme of this year on our team is no one's coming to save us. No one's going to save us. And that means that if it's meant to be, it's up to me. And there are certain actions or certain things that we have to do. And maybe we look and we do a deep dive into, even if you're an individual agent and you're looking at ways to increase your price point or whatnot, and it has everything to do with the people you're hanging around with already. and taking inventory of who is in your life right now and the top 5 people that are actually hanging out with. Look at their dollars. I know it's weird, but like, what is their lifestyle like? Are you following in the same patterns? Are you doing the same behaviors that is causing them grief? And I think I took a really hard look at that earlier on in the middle of my career, and that is what shifted. So it's not, it is what you do, but it's who you are surrounding yourself around with too.
Yeah, it's what we teach our kids, and it's still true as adults. You know, who we hang out with, who you work with matters, right? Okay, so what else do I need to ask Jeni? Why don't we do this? Why don't we open it up, and you guys feel free to ask. Oh, hang on, I see a question.
Somebody asked me if I buy leads, and I said no way. I have never bought leads.
So Adriana Zutenhorst has asked us, Jeni, if we could talk a little bit more about Keller Williams Advantage. So what I would say to that, and you tell me your thoughts too, please, Jeni, is that, you know, Keller Williams is kind of like being the best listing in the neighborhood at the best price. You really don't have to market it. When you're the best listing in the neighborhood at the best price, you really don't have to work too hard to sell it.
It's true, and we have the most market share as well. And so what that means is we have more agents. We have more agents to share your listing with. We have the largest quantity of volume. We have the largest unit count, and we have the majority of the market share. I would say, I think even last year it was like, we were the largest at 38 or 39%, and the next one lower than us was like 18% market share, right?
Yeah, I don't have that number in my brain, but
I think in Atlanta, that's what it was.
We are number 1 in Atlanta and Georgia, and we are the number 1 office in the southeastern region. And Keller Williams is number 1 worldwide by agent count, units, and volume. Yeah, volume.
But there's only one reason why, and that's because of the education that is provided with the Keller Williams Advantage. So, I mean, a good term to remember is getting further faster. And there's only one way to get further and faster, and that is skills of your craft and doing different activities, right? So by increasing your skill, by increasing your activity and increasing the people that you're around, like the quality of people that you're around in your industry, you're raising your bar higher, and you're making yourself enter into a room where you're going to be really uncomfortable, but you're going to learn a lot, and you're going to grow a lot too.
Yeah, awesome. All right, who's got a question or a comment for Jeni or me? Just feel free to unmute yourself, or you can type it into the chat box.
Hi guys. I think my biggest concern is lead generation. But I do know I have to do more research on it to get different ideas. But that's my largest concern, with just not having enough people in my personal circle that I would be able to pull from.
So what I'm hearing you say is that you are concerned about the number of people you're calling. Is that right?
The number of people that I would have to, like, on my list that I'm creating, of the people in my circle that I would have to, lean on.
Yeah, that's a fair question. And I think a follow-up question, a lot of times the people that you're actually talking with directly are not the ones who are going to buy or sell. Those are the people that already know you and they love you and they trust you. And a good question to follow up with those people that already know you and love you is, Clarke, who do you know? Mm-hmm. Who do you know that's just like you that would be amazing for me to meet, even if they are not ready right now? What I want to do is just introduce myself to them so that they are not landing in a situation where they don't have proper representation, and I want to keep them safe. Will you help me keep them safe?
and lead generation looks different for different agents. It's no one agent does it exactly, or team does it exactly the same as somebody else. I would say, Tiffany, that we heard at our mega camp, which is one of our two conventions that we have biannually. She was a lady from Australia. Her name is Klein. Nikki Klein, I think was her
Nikki
name.
Klein, yeah.
She moved. She's Australian, so she's got the accent right. You know, she's not from the U.S., right? She was living in Connecticut, and she moved from Connecticut to Boca Raton, Florida. Okay, she knew no one. You know what she did, Tiffany? She created a Facebook group all about Boca Raton, and she just like fed it and did, blogged about different stuff. She went to the dry cleaners and highlighted the dry cleaners. She went to the dentist and highlighted the dentist. She went to the chiropractor and highlighted the chiropractor, and invited until now. That, I believe she said that represents 60% of her referrals. She did not let another real estate agent in. That was the ground rules. And she also made it clear that nobody was going to talk about politics, nobody was going to talk about religion, and nobody was going to discuss vaccines. Evidently, vaccines is a crazy, like, hot button issue. I didn't know that, but evidently it is. So there are a lot of ways to do that and grow that sphere of influence or your Met database. I would say, generally speaking, with people I talk to, sphere of influence is the number one source for those leads. In addition to that, probably number two is probably open house, or three is open house, and another one is social media. So as when we pick your goal, Tiffany, we're going to identify three they call it in your 135. You can see if I've got one here. Looks something like this. So when we pick the goal at the top, we're going to pick three strategies, which really, in essence, are sources for leads. And so, you're going to be, one of those sources may just be networking. That may be what you need to do. And that can be a running club, that can be a tennis club, that can be on the golf range, that can be it can be at your house of worship. It can be, like I said, in a house with a mouse. It can be just about anything. But when you pick the goal, you're going to pick three sources for leads, and that's really what we're going to focus on. Because if you focus on more than three, you're probably going to be an inch deep and a mile wide. Does that help a little bit?
Sorry, I was trying to unmute. Yes, thank you.
Okay. Who else has a comment or a question? Don't be shy.
Hi everyone, my name is Zoe. I don't know if you can hear me. I'm on my lunch break. I'm actually I'm going to Barney Fletcher. I start October 12th, and I'm actually expecting. So I'm doing January. I'm 6 months, and I've been a real estate. See, I'm speaking it. Anyway, I've been a leasing agent for the last 2 years, and people have always said, you should do real estate. I'm like, I don't know. People say you don't make money. Anyway, so when I get, people just always have something negative to say. And so, and it can discourage me. But I've completely filtered it out, because obviously people are making money in real estate, like you and Jeni. But anyway, I literally don't know, like when I get out of school, I'm about to have a baby. And then after I do that, what do I do? Like, do I just start, people are like, oh, you need to start talking to agencies. And I'm like, but I'm pregnant. Nobody's going to talk to me. And so I just don't know, when I'm done and I take my board, what would be a next step?
So great question. So you're going to need three things when you go to take your state test in order to tell them where you want your license to go.
Oh, that's cute, Tiffany.
The first thing is a sponsoring broker form, which they'll-
Sorry. Yep, I'm listening.
they'll-
Sorry.
which that's okay. They'll provide you with, or I can send you one. The second thing is you're going to need a lawful presence form, which is some kind of one-page form that you have to get notarized. And then the third thing is a criminal background check. So they want to make sure that you're not a mass murderer before they give you a real estate license. And I believe that has to be done within 60 days of actually hanging your license. So you don't want to get it 60 days before. I believe that's the case. So those are the three things that you're going to need. Then the answer to your question, Zoe, is you can hang your license anywhere in Georgia.
Yep.
I think my biggest concern is going from having having an income plus commission to going full commission. And I know you were sharing the host was sharing that you did both jobs for 6 months. And then you transitioned into full-time real estate. But I think that's been the biggest hesitation for me, just going full commission when really, yeah, that's the part I'm kind of concerned about. And that's why I just like, do I do new home sales? Because I heard new home sales, you get a commission plus salary plus a reduced commission. There's just so many questions. So I'll figure it out.
So, you can do new home sales. There's nothing wrong with that. You will be an employee. So you will be an employee, you'll be a W-2 employee for the builder. And you'll be to some degree or another, you will be an employee of the builder. And which means your commission's less, but you'll have a type of base to sit in a vacant home. There are a lot of options. There's commercial versus residential. But really, Keller and I'll be the first one to tell you, Keller Williams is not for everybody. Not for everybody. Keller Williams is for somebody who wants to build a career in real estate. It's not for people who want to do it as a hobby. And I will share this with you, Zoe, that I think and this might go to Adriana's question from before, you'll have more opportunities, likely have more opportunities to go in more directions with Keller Williams than any other real estate company in the country.
Got it. What was did you have hesitation going from, like, what, was it a financial reason that you didn't straight up go full-time real estate, or?
Well, I should have read The Road Less Stupid before I started. But yeah, sure, there were financial concerns. In fact, my wife was expecting when I started in real estate.
Oh.
But what I would say is, and Jeni will probably echo this because she has gotten super disciplined in the financial area of her life, is that maybe, Zoe, your goal is to earn enough to set aside whatever 3 months of your monthly expenses, or maybe that's 5 months, or maybe that's 6 months. So if you're let's say your monthly expenses are $5,000 a month, and you want 6 months of that saved up before you quit your job, then your goal is $30,000 set aside. And so what does that mean? Well, that means you probably need to sell about 3 or 4 homes, save the money, and then burn the boat.
It's easier than
Thank you.
It's a lot easier than you think. It really is. And I think when people get out of their own way and their worries and just get into action, that's where the beautiful things start happening.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Okay, so somebody said, Katie asked a couple of questions. Hey, where's the best place to, I don't know that there's a best place to take the real estate. I would say Capitus Real Estate, which is the one I put on here, is a great one. Barney Fletcher's a great one. I went there. Just be careful. I would just say exercise caution when a real estate company is offering to give you a like a scholarship of some sort, or defray part of your cost. There's usually teeth in that, and they usually require that you stay with them for a period of time. Otherwise, they're going to penalize you. So be careful. I can't mention names on this, but there's at least one real estate company out there that offers to pay for your tuition in the school, but there are teeth in that. They're going to basically it's basically real estate Stockholm syndrome.
Oh yeah, big time.
But I would say Barney Fletcher, Capitus, either of those two would be good. Now you asked something about
Someone asked about full-time.
What was that question? Is it a requirement to be full-time in order to become an agent? No, I mean, it's not, but here's what I would say. It's if you're going to join like the Lewis Group, I guarantee you need to be full-time, right? On a team. As an individual, you're the boss. I was an individual agent for 10 years before I started a team. But here's the thing. At some point, you're going to want to burn the boats and stay on the island. At some point, you're going to want to burn the boats and stay on the island. That's how I would answer that. Then they had a question about commission splits when you're on a team. Somebody asked that. When you're on a team, Katie Osborne asked, when you're on a team, how is the closing divided? Is it based on who brings the lead? Can you share in general terms how that might work?
You're basically paying for resources. So as an individual agent, you obviously have the choice of joining a team or being an individual agent. With being an individual agent, you get to control the costs. You are the rainmaker, so you get to come up with a budget. You take care of all the administrative fees and all that. And some people want to have that control so that they know exactly where their leads are coming from, et cetera. That's great. I think that's a beautiful thing. Me being on a team, the only cost I have to worry about is my super key and gas in my car. I don't have to worry about anything else. All I have to do is talk to people, and I like it. I like having things simple. I'm okay paying into the kitty because if I do my job right, I'm earning a big paycheck at the end of the year.
Tiffany Pierce asked, have you heard of Aceable Agent? The answer is no, I've never heard of Aceable Agent.
What's that?
Yeah, same.
Who cares?
It's probably a school of some sort.
Okay. Sorry, Tiffany.
All right, y'all. Anybody else have a question?
Don't be scared. This is an awesome career. You can do it. If I can do it, anybody can do it.
And I'll share this. And I'll share this also. Jeni mentioned this, which is passive income and building wealth. And I'm just going to brush this with broad strokes, y'all. When you join Keller Williams, you're going to name a sponsor, and that should probably be the person who invited you to this call. And it can be anybody you want, to be honest with you, associated with Keller Williams. Why is that important? Because when you get into production and you start selling and you pay part of your commission, which you're going to pay 30% to Keller Williams, you can jot that down, which means you go home with 70 until you've had about 5 or 6 closings, and then you make 100% for that year. That's kind of how that works in broad strokes. So don't get bogged down in those details. The reason I bring that up is because I'm a new agent. I come to Keller. Jeni Thomas invites, or let's say I'm an agent at a different company. Jeni Thomas invites me to Keller Williams. I join Keller Williams. I start selling. She receives part of the profit that I generate for this market center. And so, how much, I'm really going to put you on the spot now. How much are you profit sharing these days, Jeni?
I think per month, it used to be lower, but as I'm adding people onto my downline, last year I made close to $8,200. So that helped me, pay the rest of my car off. And then this year will be closer to $9,000.
Love it. I love it. And yeah, shout out to Inez McDonald that referred you to this call. Way to go, Inez.
Nice. She's on my team.
Bam. There you go. You'll have to please share that with her that Zoe was on the call. So that's just, y'all, that's icing on the cake. I made, and I'll toot my own horn real quick. When I was doing what Jeni was doing, I was pretty much, I was earning between $12,000 to $13,000. And last year I got just shy of 20.
Oh my God. That's so exciting.
I know, it's super exciting.
That's
So y'all,
I think that's like the most exciting part about Keller Williams is that as people join in your downline, it's unreal. Like when you have such a collective culture of like education and you're always sharing and you're in this world, like we all get better and bigger and we earn more money together. It's not just like, well, one-off. It's like more and more. And it's not like a multi-level marketing scheme. It's not like that. Like this is profit sharing. Profit sharing is different from MLMs.
yeah, awesome. Well, y'all, it's 12:58, so I'm going to end this on time. Jeni, if you guys have other questions, I put my information down there. I think you did as well, Jeni. So thank you, Jeni Thomas, for being with us. I love, and I just and I'm saying this to, well, anyway, I would tell you this in person, but I really do, and you're one of my favorite people to interview. So I love doing this with you. So that's why I asked you, and before why I asked you. So I love doing that. So y'all help me thank Jeni, and I thank you guys. You know, stay in touch with the person who asked you to this. I know Adriana's got somebody on here. Jeff, you may have somebody. I think I saw Debbie was on the call. Y'all stay in touch with your folks and call me, text me, or email me if I can answer any questions for y'all. Good luck. And we look forward to y'all making the obvious and irresistible choice of Keller Williams.
That was nice. I like that one.
Thank you both.
All right. Thanks, y'all. Thanks, Jeni.
Bye, guys.